It's your girl T here, back with the Tuesday vid. Yeah, I know you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day because you're tea timers. Is absolutely what we do. Our affirmation of the day is, I am not my negative thoughts. I am not my negative thoughts. We're tea timers. We separate ourselves from things that we don't want, that are unwanted, and we keep it moving. Nothing has meaning until we assign it such. I had a question from a subscriber. Does your SP have to be a romantic interest? Like, can you have SPs that are family members, friends, or aunties, uncles, sisters, brothers, best friends, bosses at work? Of course, your SP just means significant person or special person. It can be anyone in your reality. We don't just have complicated relationships with our significant people. We can also have it with our parents. We can have it with friends. We can have it with anybody in our 3D reality. So if someone significant in your reality is someone that you want to manifest a different version of, because we are all dualities, so we all have different versions of ourselves. And if you want a better version of a significant person in your reality, it follows the same guidelines as you would do with a romantic significant person. It's just because SP, when they're referred to in all these manifestation videos, are usually referring to romantic interest, because honestly, of all the coaches I've talked to, a couple, the most interest we get and the most mail that we get is about romantic significant people. But I have had significant people who definitely are not romantic interests. Bosses, colleagues, friends, people who have a big part in my life and who are showing up in a way that I don't vibe with, that are causing, they're triggering trauma within me, or they're triggering things within me that's not bringing out my best version, and I'm not seeing the best version in them. What I typically do when I'm triggered by these unwanted versions of people is, of course, I try my best not to react, but we're all human, so we might I reacted today, actually. I had a customer and he was quite rude and he was taking his day out on me, and I reacted for like 20 minutes in my mind, and then I stopped myself and I was like, no, this isn't real. It's the 3D. It's old thoughts and beliefs. And then I went back inside and I corrected it. I revised it and I went back to my Zen place. You can do a bunch of stuff, but what I typically do, if I do react in the 3D, I don't stress over it anymore. I go and listen to the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is, thank you, I love you, sorry. And I forget the last thing. Thank you, I love you, sorry. There's a fourth one, but I'm forgetting right now. Anyways, if you look up Ho'oponopono prayer online, it's definitely 4 things. And what it means is, it's please forgive me. So forgive yourself, and the person forgive you for bringing up that version of them. I love you, meaning I love you. I'm only going to try and see the best version of you. Thank you for showing me that I have this work to do, and I'm sorry for not being able to see the better version of you, or for creating this version of you. I listen to that for like 10 minutes when I'm really hyped up, and it calms me right down, and I go back to my creator self as opposed to my victim / reactive self that I don't want to align with. And then every time that memory pops up, if it's trying to force me to be triggered or to go back to that reactive state, I'm like, oh, that's not part of my reality anymore. Oh, that's not part of my reality anymore. And I think of the way that I wanted it to go, and it'll revise, or I just won't care about it anymore. It's okay for you guys to react and have feelings. We're human beings. At some point in your life, you're going to react to something. It's impossible not to. Impossible is a limiting belief, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we're human beings. We have emotions. We do our best to not react to things, but we will react. So I wouldn't stress over reacting to anything to do with your 3D reality or your significant person or what have you. There's tools to use against that. Revising, listening to meditation, affirming. Focusing on something happy is another thing that I do. When I don't like that my mind is continually focusing on a perceived negative outcome, I go to a happy place. Abraham Hicks said, if you have 10 things not working for you and you choose to focus on the one thing that is working on you, all those 10 things will dissolve and they will flip around for you. We as a society have been conditioned to think that we have to wait for the next bad thing to happen, and we need to focus on all the negatives in our life, because that is the general narrative of the unconscious world is to focus on what's not working and bitch and complain about it. I used to be that person. I used to complain and vent about everything that wasn't working and wonder why I kept repeating every day. People think they have no power. They think that the day is going to pan out the same as yesterday. We know that the best way to see tomorrow is to create it. So use the tools to best, the ones that align with you the most, and the best tools to help you get back to a place of neutrality at the minimal, or a place of feeling powerful again, because it's easy to get bumped out of that powerful feeling throughout the day, but it's those little micro moves we do throughout the day, whether it's affirming or refocusing on something else or dissolving our feelings and listening to a subliminal. Figure out what works best for you, but do your best to focus on the things that bring you joy. And if you're hyped up and you're triggered, like I was today, you need to figure out what your go-to is for that feeling. Because it's really hard when you are triggered and you are spinning a little bit. It's really easy actually to stay in that feeling and to think about it for the next week. It's a little more tricky to navigate what works for you to calm you down and get you back focused on the powerful creator you are. It took me a few tries to figure out what my formula is for when I do get triggered. But like I told you before, it's either going into the Ho'oponopono prayer or focusing on things that are working for me and not blasting this scenario out of proportion, because nothing has meaning until we assign it one. I love y'all, but not as much as you should be loving yourselves. Have a beautiful, blessed Tuesday. Bye!